All right, so we're going to begin with a demo. A lot of people ask me, how are you going to explain what Tableau is in like one sentence? And for people who've never done business intelligence, it's a little hard. The best way we can kind of describe it is Microsoft Excel on steroids. But as you progress through this course, you'll realize it's nothing like Excel. It's so much more than Excel. But that's the easiest way to understand what it's doing. So what we're going to do in this section is the demo and compare how Excel would create a dashboard or do graphics of any sort, and then how Tableau would do it. So what I have here is a data set, and this is called the Superstore dataset. It comes with the software. So when you install the software, maybe I can show you here, right? This is Tableau when you install it. You won't see any of this stuff. This is ones I've designed. But here on the bottom, this one is actually the Superstore dataset. And it's a sample workbook that you can use to practice. It's on every edition that you download. And it's a very diverse set of data so that you can have a really good play to see what Tableau does, right? Before that, we're going to go through this Excel dataset. So let me just prepare this so you can see it. And the Superstore is a fictitious supermarket chain with all sorts of information. And they sell all sorts of things. They sell office supplies, they sell technology, they tell you what city it's in, what country the sale was, how many sales they're doing in pounds. What else they got in here? You've got discount, manufacturer. This is kind of standard data sets that you probably get in the company you work in, where you got your field headings or your column headings, and then you've got the information inside. So what we call these things is columns, field headings, column names, that kind of thing. And then this way, that's probably not, probably this way is columns, right? Field headings. And then this way are called records or rows of data, right? So in this case, I would describe this with this column is 10,000 rows of data, right? And what we're going to do is we're going to try and do a very, very basic line chart. And I'm going to do one or a bar chart. Let's say I want to get sales. That's an easy one, right? And I'm going to do it by, actually, maybe not sales. Let's pick a different one here. Let's just pick a rough number. I just want to pick, all right, units estimate, right? So I'm going to highlight this and I want to know how many units per country. Okay, so the way you would do it in Excel is you would highlight the whole, you would highlight, what would you do? I'm trying to remember Excel. You would create a graphic, right? So you would go, I want a bar chart, okay, like so. And we're going to select the data. Let's get rid of this one. And we're going to add the first one. So we're going to add units. We're going to add the whole thing. Then we're going to add where it's coming from. So we have to go all the way back up. And I want you to take note of how long this is taking, right? Right. So if you do a bar chart, what you'll notice is it doesn't even combine it. It just shows it. So what I have to do to get it to this stage, I have to do another step, which is a pivot table in order to sum them all up. Again, another step. So this is one of the problems with Excel in that there's a lot of little steps you got to do, right? So let's go look for those units estimate again. Let's go values and let's split it up by, what did we use? Country. So let's grab country. There we go. Country, 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 right? So now we have these values. And now I want to turn this into a graphic. So now I introduce a graphic. There we go. Okay, so that took, I don't know, a few minutes, right? If you know what you're doing. But a lot of people don't really go to maybe this speed. Some beginners that I see maybe takes them like 5-10 minutes, sometimes longer if they're fiddling around with the data. And let's say you want to change something, you have to come in here. Let's say I want to change to city, right? So it does work for the most part, but now I have to adjust this. I have to do the colors manually. There's a lot of fiddling and fidgeting you have to do with Excel, right? That is what Tableau is kind of here to replace, making it easier to actually handle this data and look at it from a more visual perspective and to do it very, very easily. So now let's see this in action in Tableau. So I'm going to close this. We're not going to save it. And I'm just going to make sure I didn't change that dataset type. All right, everything looks good. Okay, so let's bring in Tableau. All right, so I've got Tableau over here. And a lot of other programs, in order to load up data, you have to press a button, you have to go load, you have to set the data types, you have to do all these kinds of things, you have to set every single field. It's a lot of work, right? And if you get it wrong, it adds more time, it takes a lot longer. Here's how Tableau does it. This is the file I was using, so it's a CSV. You can load all sorts of files, Excel, text files, things from servers, all sorts of things. But a majority of people are going to be using either CSV or Excel files. To make the connection or to load your information, I just grab it and I drop it anywhere here. It doesn't matter where I drop it, right? And what Tableau is going to do, it's going to read that information, and that's done, right? So it's gone and loaded up the text file. I can tell it's a text file right here, right? This portion up here is your canvas, if you will. This is what you're going to be dealing with, right? This is the information I'm interested in. And this portion down here actually describes the data. So these little symbols tell me it's a number or it's a word. You'll see other things like dates. Where are they? Dates. It'll even detect if it's a country. See the little globe? Dates right here. And one of the smart things about Tableau, and this is one of the best things, in Excel, for example, see how it's got that pound symbol? I have to clean that up. In Tableau, I just go number, right? And that's clean for me. That saved 5 minutes. And 5 minutes doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're doing it like, thousands of times throughout the year, it adds up. If your corporation's doing it like across all the people, that's a lot of time, it's a lot of money. All right? So I've loaded up the data. Now I'm ready to do my graphics. So that was like, one click. So I go into a sheet, and you're going to notice if you've done pivot tables before, it's got a space for your rows, a space for your columns, right? And then whatever value you have. So I'll do a really basic one. We're going to do that country by units estimate. To do it in Tableau, here's how it works. I grab country. I can drop it anywhere here. Doesn't matter where I drop it. It will just visualize wherever I put it. So if I put it here, it's going to put it on the columns. If I put it here, it's going to put it in the rows, right? If I put it in the text, it's going to put it in the text. It's all drag and drop. I haven't even done any formulas yet, right? And now I want to see how many units estimate. So if I grab units estimate and I drop it into columns, I now have that same bar chart we did in Excel, but I did it in what, 3 clicks, right? And here's the beauty. When I get new data, I don't even have to build this again. I just open it up. I hit the refresh, right? And then the data is there. It's refreshed. I don't have to build every time like you kind of have to do in Excel, right? And you can do all sorts of things with this information. So let's have a bit of fun. I'm going to do a bit of a showcase. I want to see this highest to lowest. So very easy. I just click on this button right here, right? And now I'm highest to lowest. But I'm a very visual person, and humans are very visual. So we're going to introduce some color. I want it to be showing me the highest to lowest, right? And I want to show by color who has the least units, right? So if I grab units estimate and I drop that into color, it's already added color. You can't do this in Excel. So let's go ahead and open this up, and I can change this color. I'm gonna have a bit of fun. Let's do sunrise, sunset, and go OK. So as you can see, you can introduce these kinds of colors. So let's do a different graph. I'm gonna go open a new sheet. Let's do a line chart, but let's do something else. Let's look for a date. So I've got order date here, right? So I've got the years, and I want to see this not by year, but maybe by month. So why don't we actually, no, let's leave it by year, and let's grab something else. Let's look at sales, right? Now sales here is being stored as a word, but I know it's number, so we just set it to number, right? Convert to measure, and now I can use this for my graph. So now I know that the sales are increasing year on year, but maybe I want to know by quarter, right? So all I do is click this little plus, and these are called hierarchies, which we'll get to. So now you can see it by quarter, but my manager's like, Jed, I want to see it in months, man. I just click it again. So now I can see it by month. And he's like, I don't like that quarter. You can just get rid of it. And it's just so easy. It's so fluid. And I think this is what is just so much fun about this kind of technology, because it's just so simple, right? If I want to see the running total, I just go here, quick table, running total. So now I can see it. But I don't want it year on year. I want it by year. so I can see how we're going. 2017 made the most, right? Again, we haven't even touched the keyboard yet. Let's do one more. Okay, let's pick, ooh, is there a city one? This one's really fun. So if I wanted to map the sales by state or by country, I could do it like this. So we do country and I want to see the sales. So again, I can do that. And that gives you kind of one perspective on the data. But what if we did it like this instead? Let's clear this out. I want to map it. And all I have to do is double click a region, right? Tableau is going to read it. And you can see that we are now in Europe. And if I want to see these dots, which represent the countries, in terms of sales, I can drop that into color again. So now I can see that France is making the most sales. I mean, that took 2 seconds. I remember when I used to do that for like 2,000 rows, that would take me like 3 days in Excel and using some free tools online. It would take so long. And let's say I want to be a bit more visual again. We want to see the lowest performing. So anything with low values, I want it in red, and high values, I want to kind of blacked out. And look at that. So now I can see these countries are the lowest. But again, little things I want to tweak. I want to see what country it is without having to hover. So I can do something like this. So now I can see them. I can zoom in. I can do all sorts of things, right? I can put the value in the label, right? Just like that. And it's just so easy. Finally, once you have all these analysis, you can put it together in what's called a dashboard. So let's go ahead and click that dashboard. And I just drop them in, right? I'm just going to resize this just so it looks a little bit prettier. All right, let's make this a bit wider, right? I'm going to bring it in. Let's bring that one in, and let's bring the map in. Yeah, we can put it in here. Okay, we don't need this thing. All right, and as you can see, we have already made a dashboard that took seconds, right? And when you do this kind of stuff in Excel, that's pretty much all you get. This is where the business intelligence part comes in. I can use this thing called use as filter, right? If I activate that on everything, right? And maybe I'll put this down here, right? Just so we can have a bigger map. And what use as filter does, and let's just rotate this. There we go. It's a little bit better, right? And what use as filter does is it lets the graphic be used as a filter. So if I want to know what's happening in France, I just click France. And you see how everything changes. You cannot do this in Excel unless I guess you're doing macros and all that kind of stuff. But that takes like a specialty skill to do. This took us like 2 seconds. Anyone can do this. And when you do your first one, oh man, it opens your eyes of what is possible. You can even say, right? If I click that, it tells me what the sales were there. I can say, show me Finland, right? Even the map is interactive. And this is just a small taste of what you can do with Tableau. So I hope it gives you an idea that yes, it's Excel on steroids, but it's actually so much more. It's on a different level. All right. So I'm not going to talk anymore. Let's get straight into it. I'm going to show you guys exactly how to do all this stuff. It's so freakishly easy. All right. I'll see you inside. Bye.